But have you ever come to that and you're like, oh man, I really got to lay a hard one on them here? One of the things that you do, I think, well, is you're really good with clients and kind of quelling fears of like, hey, every house has little issues here and there. There's no house, even new construction, many times that doesn't have some deficiency.
Sure.
And you have this this calm about you where you'll come and say, hey, overall, great house. We found a few things, a couple different items. But have you ever come to that and you're like, oh man, I really got to lay a hard one on them here?
Yesterday.
Okay.
The house it was only 1,000 square foot home.
Okay.
But we found over 70 things wrong. It was recently renovated.
Okay.
And there's only so many things that I can cover, but more importantly, there's only so many ways I can break it to you that you have major structural repairs that's going to cost a lot of money.
Sure.
Right? Because every house has issues, like you said, right? Is it $200 or is it $250,000?
Sure.
And
it's a house. It's just like a car. They wear out, they break down. Mm-hmm. You have to replace tires, you have to replace a water pump, timing belt, that type of thing. It's always odd to me when people feel like a house should never break down or have issues or wear and tear. Like even in the room here, like there's paint that it's an older house, and so it has to go back and fix up the chipping paint.
Sure.
What so I think one of the things I think with like new home buyers, if they need to be paying attention to hiring, like let's say they're in a different area of the state, they're not in this area, and they need to hire somebody, what would be your guidance if you're like guiding your niece or nephew across the?
I think what are
some of the questions they should ask? I guess maybe a better question.
I think most importantly is first and foremost pick a realtor that's really good, knows the market, knows the area like yourself. I paid him to say that. But I think using their expertise, their guide on who they know, who they've worked with in the past.
Okay. So like a reputation.
Reputation, okay. And first and foremost, that would be your first go-to, I think. And then secondly, we're in an age where there's bukus of social media review sites, Google reviews, and use that to read the reviews, right? Because if you have 100 reviews and they're all 5 stars, it's not by mistake.
Yeah.
So.
Plus, I mean, if there are negative reviews, you can see how they respond to it. And,
exactly.
I think that's always been really nice. Is like Google and Yelp in particular. They don't give you control over getting rid of bad reviews.
That is true.
And so I always find it interesting if they do have a bad review, how does the owner handle that? How do they respond to it? Do they just ignore it? Because you can have some crazy clients, but there are genuine mistakes that happen on occasion.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. So it immediately made me think of Sean in The Office where Pam says to Dwight during he has like the doomsday device, and she says, Poe buddies, never mind. All right. But so they go with the reputation. Are there any like questions that are worthwhile asking? How many homes have you inspected? Are you familiar with old homes? Like,
what I get asked a lot is basically more so, how do I approach an inspection?
Okay.
Right? And for me, when I started Four Corners Inspection, for me personally, family is always priority, right? So I always convey to my clients that above all else, I'm going to inspect your house like it's for my own family, and to make sure that they're getting a house that is priority number one is safe. So they usually ask me, so how do I go about that? What do I check? Do I walk the roof, or do I check every single window? Because the standard of home inspections doesn't require us as home inspectors to check every single window. It's one window, one outlet per room.
Really?
Which is crazy.
Okay.
Because just because one is working doesn't mean the others are working.
Especially if they're older windows.
Exactly.
Like mine are over 100 years old.
So I always try to convey to them how I would approach an inspection, and I get that a lot.
Would it be worthwhile for them to look up what the standards are, like, and see what actually an inspection includes before they go buy their first home?
That would be someone who's always above and beyond, right?
Okay. I mean, I can tell you the amount of clients that I've had that do that are very small.
Exactly. I was going to say,
yeah.
Because when I create an inspection profile for my client, once they accept or before they accept the agreement, they can also see the standards of what we go by.
Sure.
What I go by specifically, it's all written black and white. How we're going to inspect the windows, what we're going to do is a limited visual inspection.
Okay.
Right. We're not there with a magnifying glass, but I always try to do my best. And if I see something, I'm going to further investigate.
Gotcha.